Okay, let's go ahead and get our crank set in. Went ahead and got our block side bearings set in there. Everything is cleaned up. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna lube it up. I'm sure someone out there recommends something else, but this is what we have, this is what we're gonna use. All right, get everything lubed up there. As you guys can see, I'm not being bashful with this stuff. Stuff is pretty cheap, so and things will be sitting for a little bit while we get everything all the car all ready to receive it. Go ahead and get her all gooped in there, just like so. Might put a little more on there yet. It really runs out. It's gonna be all right. We got plenty of it. Not a problem. Okay, big moment here. Make sure we don't nick our bearings or anything. Keep all our fingers out of the way. Yeah, we are set. So here you guys go. Everything's looking good so far. Obviously didn't have to do much to get to this point. Went ahead and got our bearings set in place. Take our lube. Set gooper up nice and good. See, I'm not trying to be stingy with this by any means. Sure, someone will say I'm using too much, too little. Honestly, I don't think it matters. Make sure we're going in the correct spot. Something like that. Looks about right. We can line it up for the most part. And we're just gonna repeat the process on down the line until we're all everything in place. Now this third bearing looks a little different because this has our thrust on it. This is what keeps the crank from moving back and forth here. So we went ahead and make sure we get it on the sides as well, because that is also going to be rubbing the whole time. So definitely don't be keeping that stuff dry on startup for the front to back motion. That'll trash the thrust bearing really fast. And like I said before, I'd like to be able to be hard on engines while they're at the track, not as we're building them. Everything plenty in there. Make sure it's oriented correctly. About like that. Good for me. Toss that right into possession. Right there. Now, this back cap here, I'll pick you guys up here in a second and show you. Make sure you orient this properly. It's very easy to get backwards. Because that rear cap sits in there different than the rest of them. See how all these, the numbers are on top? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is actually down here because the cap itself is flipped. See here, at least have the metal sticking out. I'm not bleeding, that's just assembly lube. That's kind of sticking back towards the engine, or sticking back. This one flips this way. That way we can keep everything bolts where they're supposed to be, and so your rear cover can fit. So make sure you get that on there, or else you're never gonna get that rear cover on, and you'll be taking your engine back out of the car pissed off. So next, we need to go ahead and get our studs in. You know, me and all my infinite wisdom. You know, I check these main bearings, you know, many times, but I never separate my frickin' studs, and there's different studs for different positions. And I just didn't. Because, you know, I'm kind of a goof, and they're really not that much different, but they are different. You don't want to put them in the wrong spot. See here. There's our inner studs are 4.770, outer studs are 4.550. So it's kind of hard just to eyeball that. You really got to put them up next to each other to be able to see. Which kind of makes it a pain when, you know, I put in here and leave all the freaking nuts in there. That was really nice of me to do that to myself, but no big deal. So long ones are going in the center. Just have to find a short one to compare it to. All right, just as expected, because I like to screw myself over. I got one in the wrong spot. Not sure where, of course. This is definitely outer. One of these outers is longer than it should be. It's not that one. It is this one. Found it. All right. So you can go ahead and. God, I'm an idiot. Glad you guys have a wonderful view of that, because I'm a moron and didn't move the camera. But here we are with our studs. We're going to go ahead and we put these studs themselves in, go in hand tight. That's it. Then we're going to go back through and we're going to torque these. We also have side caps or side bolts that need to go in. All right, got our studs in. Just going to go ahead and make sure we get those cinched down finger tight. You know, kind of trying to record some of the stuff for my TikTok page. I don't know, some of you guys may or may not have seen it. Kind of a pain to do both at once, but you know, it's a lot easier recording, you know, stuff for YouTube, I think. Just because I can talk to you guys for longer, you know. We're gonna speed this up a bit. You know, I have some nice fancy Milwaukee tools. But, you know, it doesn't really help out much when you don't know where you put them. Lawnmower is a great place to keep this. It does say finger tight, so we're only going to go about that tight. We will actually set this down to just one. We're literally just setting these studs down where they're supposed to be. At least I think we are. There's that. We'd like to go ahead and sink these down, you know, without drawing them in, you know, with the nuts. So we'll go ahead and get our dead blow. It's a little rubber mallet and tap these down. That one's a little tough to. Okay, just like that. Easy peasy, lemon squeeze me. Well, we'll go ahead and make sure we got everything back off where it's supposed to be. This is a very unorthodox pattern I got going here. Don't mind me. This is just getting our studs set in place so we can go ahead and torque this thing. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do this. They provide some lube, but I've had this thing apart a few times now checking clearances. So I went ahead and picked me up a tub of this stuff. It's pretty cheap, only like $10, and this thing will probably last you a lifetime. Unless you blow a lot of shit up and you build a lot of engines, which might be our case, who knows. But per the instructions, we lube up the threads here. Just like so. We also lube the bottom of the nut. So we get in here, just underneath, give her a little how you doing amount. Just enough to set the mood. You know what I mean? Lube the nuts. Yes, master. It puts the ARP Molly lube on the nut and stud. It does what it's told. Well, this also makes a frickin' wonderful mess on your fingers. So, if only I had some of those gloves I was wearing. Take out some more nuts. Damn it. That's what wasn't wanting to happen is the frickin' drop a nut. We should drop 2 nuts. Sterile family. Now on. What a goof. Okay. You want to make sure you drop your very important fasteners right on your dirty ass floor. Because, you know, sure, fucking goof, but wipe that up. Get back the action here. Lube her up, nice and good. Someone got left behind. Sorry, pal. You know what? It's kind of nice having this brush. I used to have to squeeze the tube out like I'm fucking using a ketchup packet at McDonald's. Doesn't seem like it helps with precision. Not that this is a very precise portion, but you know. It's always nice when you have an easier option to do shit. I'm just kind of rambling now. Hopefully Andrew just time-lapse this shit. So you guys don't hear me yakking about nothing. As I'm working in the shop. All alone, there's no one here beside me. My troubles have all gone. There's no one to deride me. But you gotta have friends. Need to get the Shrek soundtrack playing in here. So you guys have a little bit of background music. I'm sure it's copyrighted as frick, but now I can just sing it for you guys. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. The shape of an L on her forehead. And the rules and I hit the ground hard. By the way, we're still looking for a name for our car. If you guys have any good ideas, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Think about the Rattler, because everything's rattling. But it also sounds pretty cringe. And I like being cringe sometimes, not the whole time. Some may beg to differ. All right. Last one. And pink. All right, got our nuts and studs all lubed up, ready to torque them down. Give these guys a little cinch. Also give some guys at home a panic attack. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah! Who put that one on there? What the hell? You're done, bud. and I don't see all that shit on there, I'm probably gonna, it's probably gonna come back, bite me in the ass, and go back and watch this video and call myself a fucking moron, but live and learn. Line 10 and in same shit. Alright, now we'll actually torque these things. Inner studs goes 60 foot-pounds. So we'll get our torque wrench set. That is angle. We set the pounds, which is that one. Select. Only 30 there for our rods. Hit set. Honestly, for the price point of this gear wrench, torque wrench is actually a very nice piece. I was looking at just go ahead and biting the bullet and getting a snap-on one because I do a lot of work on the side. But they're about $700 for a snap-on one. I got this from Jersey Discount Tool for like $220. It does angle, torque, memory. A lot more stuff than I have the capabilities of using because, you know, I'm just a dumb freaking hillbilly. And I think we're actually changed my mind. We're gonna go ahead and take this up in increments. We're gonna take this up in increments to about halfway or so. We'll do about 40. All right, now we're going through. All right, we had everything torqued down to 40. Let's go ahead and set these ones down to 60. Perfect. All right, that part's done. Let's go ahead and just move on. Do what we're here to do. 58, 60. Oh, that's a little much. Back that one off a little bit. Okay. No big deal. All right, go ahead to our next ones. We're gonna bump those up to 50. One little gripe about this thing though is gear wrench, we don't need to do 1/100th of a foot-pound increments. I think a half-pound increments are fine. So if you hold it, it goes faster, then you overshoot it, then you play this game where you're back and forth. A little bit of a pain in the ass. Even though I could just leave it there, it's fine, but you know, kind of little, what do they call that? A little OCD about it, whatever. Not a big deal. Down we go to 50. A little much, back it off a little bit. Nice and easy. There it is. It's done. We still got to do our side bolts. Yet these little guys. So we'll go ahead and get some RTV on those things per the instructions. And it says use RTV sealant. So we'll do that and we'll torque them down.